Allie. Join me as I show you how to do this Clematis Flower Pendant and Necklace. We're going to be using some exclusive beads, and if you need any materials, go ahead and look below the video in the description to get links back to our website, which lists out everything you need. You could also get this as a kit in our monthly subscription box, so check out that link to get more details. Gather up your supplies and let's get started. So to begin this crystal lines necklace, we are going to start with the pendant, and then we'll go into doing the rope part as well too. To start out, we are going to go in and create the foundation for our Rivoli to sit inside of. We have a 16 or an 18 millimeter Rivoli, some DiscDuos, some 3 millimeter Bugles, and 11O seed beads. We're going to begin with the inner row here. You can see that there's 5, almost like a pentagon there, of our bugle beads, and then 3 seed beads in between it. So you're going to start with some size 6 white dragon thread or green. The color works for both. And you're going to do a collection of bugle, then 3 seed beads, bugle, then 3 seed beads. And you're going to put 5 of these on your thread and needle, making sure that after each bugle are 3 seed beads. Once you get that final group in there, we're going to tie this into a circle, letting it drop down to the base of the thread. And then we are going to knot that. Once you have that knotted, we're going to build some fringe and right angle weave off of it. Now that that's knotted and has a nice tight knot, you can see I left a little tail to tie off. Once we get done, I'm going to string through my bugle bead and then my 3 seed beads as well. Coming out here, we're going to use kind of a right angle weave technique, but we are going to go through the next bugle bead and through the first of the 3 seed beads. We're going to build little prongs to hold in our DiscDuos with right now a collection of 3 more seed beads. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to come down through bead number 3 in that group of 3, skipping over bead number 2, then straight over through the next one of your bugle beads, over and come out the next 11O seed bead. As we do that, then that's going to create a little triangle point right there in the middle. Again, each time grabbing 3 more seed beads, skipping over the middle second bead and sewing through the third, and at the same time, if you can, go through the next bugle and the next bead number 1 in the group of 3. Keep going all the way around, getting those 3 seed beads to sit right on top of the 3 in a pyramid like that you just did. How are hundreds of jewelry makers saving huge each month on premium jewelry making kits? With the PotomacBeads kit subscription, you'll receive 3 brand new kits every month for as little as $49.99. That gives you a savings of up to $70 per box on retail prices. And you get free shipping. And there's no long-term commitment. You can cancel at any time. Subscribe today and enjoy top quality kits and massive savings. Visit PotomacBeads.com/subscriptions today, or click on the link below in the description to get links to get back to our website. As you finish up your last triangle there, you're going to go up into the triangle that you created first and come out through bead number 2. Coming out through bead number 2, we're going to start adding our DiscDuos, 1 and 2 11Os. Excuse me. We are going to add our first DiscDuo and then 1 and 2 more 11Os. We're going to circle back through that same 11O seed bead that our thread is currently coming out of. Pulling that nice and tight. That will be your first of your 5 little prongs that you're going to create. Now what we're going to do is actually add in a DiscDuo as well between each. So you're going to go up, so back through that DiscDuo, add an 11 new DiscDuo, and if you want, you can make sure that they all are facing the same direction. So that way all of the magic side is up, or when it comes to the shiny, or that you can see through, either one. Add in another one of your DiscDuos. Coming out of that DiscDuo, 1 and 2 of your 11-0 seed beads. Go to the next point, sew through from the right towards the left of your 11-0 that sits below. Add 2 more 11s and sew back through that same DiscDuo, circling your thread that it was coming out of. Continuing on, 11, DiscDuo, 11, DiscDuo, then 2 11s through the point seed bead that's on the next little prong area, 2 more 11s, and back through that second DiscDuo. Continue the whole way in, adding in your prongs that sit above your beads here, and then also when you're doing it, you're going to add in the extra DiscDuos. So you're going to complete it with a total of 10 DiscDuo beads. As you're putting in your last one here, you're going to go back and connect to that first DiscDuo that you added. So you're adding the 11, DiscDuo 11, and you'll notice that it's starting to curve now. We want that to happen because you can see it starts to have that appearance where the Rivoli sits right in the middle of that, and the DiscDuos kind of sit out a little bit. Coming out of the DiscDuo here, we are going to go to the next DiscDuo, just so that way we go past where we started, give a nice tight pull, and now we're going to work on kind of these interior lines as well too. So in between each one, we're going to go through the 11-0, and we are going to add 1, 2, 3 more 11s. Go back through that same 11-0 seed bead here, circling around, going through the opposite side, through the DiscDuo, and out through the next one. Bend those all towards the top or the center there, and then proceed on with a couple more. 3 more beads go on. Once those 3 beads go on, you're going back through the 11-0, through the DiscDuo, and out the next 11-0. So you're going to create those little prongs the whole way around the project, which is what we're going to use to link together with our bugles, so that way our Rivoli sits in the middle. After you create all of your prongs here, what you're going to do is come back through that first seed bead sitting between the 2 DiscDuos, and we're going to go up to the top of the prong, meaning through bead number 1 that you just put on, and then through bead number 2. Because remember, you put on 3 beads total to make that little right angle weave unit there. You're coming out of the center basically of that bead at the top of the point. You're going to grab a bugle bead, and then you're going to go over to the next point, turning that in towards the project and sewing through. Grab the next bugle bead to create your next line and go in through that center point. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm not pulling super tight because we want to get our Rivoli in there before we pull really tight. So you can go around if you want to. You can keep the Rivoli in there. You can go around, put in your bugles, and then just before you get to the end of them, you just want to make sure to drop your Rivoli in there. So I'm going through, adding in your bugle and turning those little prongs towards the front. Make sure as you're doing that, that obviously they're sitting towards the front and that your Rivoli is sitting face up so that the shine is in the front here and not towards the back. So going through, you can see how that's starting to line up and tighten up. Once you're the whole way around your Rivoli here, you're going to go in and make sure that it's nice and tight, adding in your final beads. Anytime you have a center line that's holding or bezeling around a bead here, you want to make sure to reinforce. So we're going through all of these lines here and pulling nice and tight. Now that I'm putting in my last one of my bugles, I'm going to go in, nice tight pull, and then you're going to see your Rivoli sit right in there. We're going to tighten the whole way around by going through all of those bugles one more time. And then we're going to get our needle and thread. So we're coming out through the second hole of one of our DiscDuos. As we come out through the second hole of the DiscDuo, then we're going to add a little Pico trim between each one of the DiscDuos. So go ahead, tighten it up, adding another thread through once and twice for good measure, tightening it up, and then again out. So you're coming out the second hole of your DiscDuo after you reinforce. Going back through the Rivoli then, or back from after the Rivoli, I went through that little diamond prong there, through the DiscDuo, and then I'm going to step up from the first hole to the second hole of the DiscDuo. That reverses the thread, puts a little bit on the outer edge, but you will not see that by the time we add in our extra seed beads. We're going to go along the top here, and we are going to add in some seed beads into the sides of the DiscDuo, connecting the outer edge. 3 seed beads get picked up. If you want to, you can use 1 bugle. You're going right along the outer side here. You can also embellish if you want to with more seed beads. That's up to you. Going and wrapping them around the top of the DiscDuo. I'm keeping it nice and simple and just putting those 3 seed beads between each one of my DiscDuos. Going the whole way around here, I'm going to connect them all, pour out a couple more seed beads, and then it's nice and quick. We're already on to our bail. The last step to finishing off the front or the pendant side is to get these little points on the side. How we're doing that is after we go around and put our 3 seed beads in, we're going through bead number 1, we're skipping over bead number 2, and we're going through bead number 3. The same time, usually I'm able to catch on to my DiscDuo and go through to the next set of 3 beads. When you are skipping over the center bead, because you are bending these back a little bit, what you want to do is just take your needle, pull up that center bead ever so slightly like that, give a nice little tight pull, and that creates those nice prongs that it sits in. Going through seed bead number 1, skipping over seed bead number 2, sewing through seed bead number 3, and through the next DiscDuo. Again, as you're doing that, you can even go in with another needle if you want to. Pull up that center seed bead if it doesn't want to. It pulls up pretty nicely at the beginning, but then as you're going through, just because space is getting tight, you usually need to like coax it towards the top. That then finishes out the pendant portion of the piece. If you want to, you can go in right away and add your bail. That way you can make it removable if you do not want to actually do the necklace portion as well. To do so, you're just going to take your needle and thread and basically start adding an 11-0, 1 and 2, then add a DiscDuo, or sorry, add a bugle, 2 more seed beads, and back through the top of that last DiscDuo bead. Sits right along the top. So up through, and we're just going to ladder stitch a bunch of bugles onto the piece. Bugle, and then another bugle. Add a bugle, go through the bugle that you just added. Lay that last one right along the top, and continue on to get your bail. Adding a bugle, going through, folding that along the top, and adding that in. Now I always start with a lot less thread, so I don't have to pull as much through as I'm creating, but you're going to go in and make that bail. You can see in this one here, I actually attached to the bottom section. This one here, I'm attaching to the top, so you have some options, but going to the top here, and that'll make our bail that's nice for our cord to slide in and out. Once you have your bugles on here, you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 on. I'm going to flip over to the back, add 1 and 2 more 11-0s. We're going to go through that same DiscDuo bead through that top hole. Might be a little tricky to get in there, but you'll do it. Out the DiscDuo on the opposite side. Folding those bugles, back to the back. Add 2 more of your 11s and go through that last bugle again. that is going to, bringing that thread towards the back there, that creates your nice little bail that sits right there on top. I'm going to reinforce going through one more time and then just tie off my thread ends to complete the pendant portion of the necklace. Now that we're done the pendant for the necklace portion, we're just on a nice simple rope. You're going to do approximately 20 seed beads and then a bugle, 20 seed beads and a bugle. You don't have to do the exact same pattern. Use what you've got. You can do more bugles if you want to. You can even throw in some DiscDuos. Go in there and then grab a wire guard. After you have it the length that you want, go back down the wire guard. Go in and put on one of your jump rings or your lobster clasp, whichever one you want to pick up first. And then you're going to come back down the design and add the same amount of seed beads. So I'm going to do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And if you don't have the same amount, you'll notice 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Every once in a while I miscount because I think I pick one up and I don't. I'm going to drop it down next to the 20 that are already there. Again, if it's not quite long enough, or if you have one too many, you'll pretty much notice. You're going to grab one more bugle bead. You're going to go over to the bugle to get that same ladder stitch effect like we did with the bail. You're going to go through the bugle that's already there, through the opposite direction. So like you're going back up through the piece. You're going to go back down through the bugle here on the opposite side. And nice tight pull and continue on. Keep going to create that illusion of the rope. Another 20 beads. After you have your 20 beads on, that's 20 exactly, you put on your next bugle. Drop it down, make sure your line matches. Mine, I think I got a little excited, or I miscounted the last one or the other. Just make sure that they match. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to take off 2 of my seed beads here. Put my bugle back on. Go into the bugle that's already there from the previous strand. Go through it, coming the opposite direction towards the clasp. Go back through the bugle now that you just added. Down like you're going to continue, adding more seed beads, which we are, onto the piece. So you're just going to continue the whole way along the bracelet now, or the whole way along the necklace rather, adding in the seed beads and connecting through that ladder stitch. This eventually then will go into the end here, can come off and on. And then on the opposite side, we're going to put the wire guard and the lobster. Once you've strung all of your beads and made your rope, you're coming to the starting side where I have a stop bead. And I'm just going to take, again, my wire guard, go through the first side of my wire guard, down through the second side of the wire guard, add in your lobster clasp going through the loop here. You can use the ring as well if you want to on the opposite side. And then we're going to come out through the opposite side here, going in and going down through this row of seed beads. What you're going to do then to reinforce is go the whole way down the project, loop around that wire guard one more time, and then come through, going around and tying off the 2 thread ends. That is the way that you complete your rope, which we made the bail big enough that you can take on and off as you wear your pendant. Thanks so much for joining me in this fun bezel. Remember, if you do need any supplies, look below the video in the description of the video. There's a little button that says show more. Click that and it'll give you a full list of the things that you need. Remember, you can also get this as one of the 3 kits in this month's subscription box. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything from us here at Potomac Beads. Thanks so much for watching and stay tuned for more inspirational designs.